power he receives from Yuri sometimes fluctuates. To prevent Ein from being overloaded with magic power, Yuri has been bearing this burden. Now that Ein has awakened as a guardian, he has established a bond with Yuri. This necessitates strengthening their connection, hence the emergence of this contract. After hearing Ursula's explanation, Ein apologizes to Yuri, unaware of the burden she's been carrying. In the Demon Kingdom, also known as the Underworld, the demon girl returns and asks Falcon if he's okay. A beast-like demon asks her in return how she is doing, welcoming her to the mansion. He points to a cage containing children, saying he's just received some humans but they're fine, and asks if she'd like to join him for dinner. Echidna says maybe another time, today she's here to deliver the Emperor's orders to him. Falco, reading the directive, asks if it's a joke from the demon uncle, ordering him to kill a mere runt. Echidna replies that the boy might look insignificant, but he is the one who killed the dragon behemoth. She advises Falco not to be overconfident, she likes strong people. That's also why the demon lord and she rely on Falco for such an important task. Falco laughs, saying if that's the case, he'll easily accomplish it. He flies at an incredibly fast speed to Ein's location, proud of his ability Wind Thrust, which allows him to fly extremely fast in a straight line. Knowing the time gate to the underworld has limits, Falco aims to complete his mission quickly. Standing before Ein, Falco declares he's there to take Ein's life, offering him the choice to die happily or resist and die. Ein, still sleepy, asks why Falco has come at this hour to kill him and requests him to be quieter as everyone is still asleep. Falco scolds Ein for being so audacious despite being as weak as a monkey and having luckily killed the dragon. Falco yells that Ein's end is sure. Before Ein gets hurt, Falco is already hit by his own counterattack, unable to see anything. Falco can't continue moving, as if bound by chains. After easily defeating Falco, Ein moves forward to copy his skills. The noise wakes everyone up. Ursula praises Ein, affirming that he has indeed become a true guardian. Ein, along with Yuri's group, arrives at the royal palace. A majestic castle unfolds before them, leaving Ein looking up in awe. Two guards at the door ask him what he's doing. Innocently, Ein states he wants to enter the castle. The guards laugh loudly, saying it's not a place for commoners, and ask about his profession. Ein simply replies that he is an appraiser. The guards mock him, saying a lowly scavenger like him thinks he can enter the royal palace. Another guard tells him to leave and go back to scavenging. Ein shows them the king's silver watch and asks if this would allow him entry. The guards are stunned and question how someone with a lowly profession could possess such an item. They start observing the young man with black hair and unique eyes. This is the person who saved the city in the capital the other day and, above all, defeated Behemoth. They apologize for their rudeness and then invite him inside. Ein sighs in relief, he had just stepped into the palace and already encountered trouble, but luckily, he had the king's watch with him. Claudia rushes out to greet the hero, saying it's rare for a hero to visit her. Ein bluntly states he's there to use the Forbidden Library, not to visit her. The Forbidden Library, filled with numerous books, is accessible only to the royal family. Ein thinks to himself that with the king's watch, he can now access places he has never been to before. With the library's support, he hopes to find more clues related to the hidden dungeon linked to Yuri's family. Claudia informs Ein that according to the contract, he can only enter with the king's permission and the librarian's consent. She regrets only being able to guide him thus far. Ein smiles and says it's okay, as he already has the king's permission. Claudia explains that for the librarian's consent, he just needs to open the library door and step in. Ein easily opens the door and steps in. Yuri and Ursula are then stopped by an invisible wall outside. At that moment, Ein also loses his connection with everyone. Ursula, more puzzled than the other two, asks if she can't teleport there. She's tried many times, but it seems a powerful skill has been deployed to repel anyone who isn't human. Ein understands that he can only enter the library alone, and he assures Yuri and the others not to worry. Inside, Ein is surprised by the sheer number of books, so many that the ceiling is not visible. Suddenly, he catches a falling girl, who seems to have ears similar to Yuri's sisters. After talking for a bit, Ein realizes this girl is the librarian and thanks her for allowing him entry. Alice asks why he has come. Ein explains he's there to investigate a hidden dungeon to help a friend find her family. Without hesitation, Alice hands him a book. As Ein joyfully turns to leave, Alice suddenly asks if Yuri is okay, saying she can see Yuri's core within Ein's eyes. Ein asks if Alice is the soul of the Yggdrasil tree. Alice's guardian, bringing tea and cakes, reprimands her for not informing her about the guest. Ein, recognizing the pattern, identifies her as the guardian. Akahahe introduces herself as the guardian and daughter of the legendary Suzaku. She thanks Ein for getting along with her daughter, saying she has never seen her so happy. Alice coldly looks at them, wondering where the fun is. Akahahe offers cookies to her daughter, but Alice bluntly refuses. Akahahe laughs, saying her response is cold, but she doesn't want Ein to misunderstand. Alice is likely just nervous in front of someone so cool. Ein points out to Alice that she's reading a book upside down. Akahahe laughs even harder, saying her daughter is extremely cute. Alice magically stuffs a plate of cookies into Akahahe's mouth, telling her to be quiet. Ein is astonished by this rude behavior, considering she is her mother. Setting that aside, Ein tells her that Yuri and Pina are waiting outside, and they should go meet them. Akahahe asks if Ein passed through a gate before arriving. It's a device that transports people to a different location. Actually, they aren't in the castle but in a completely different place in a hidden dungeon. The dungeon is connected to the castle through the gate. One special feature of the gate is that only humans can pass through it. There's also a power limit, only those permitted by the king and Alice are allowed entry. This rule has been in place since the time of Mictlan, decided jointly by him, the king, and a previous generation ruler. All the secrets of this country are here. To uphold the agreement to protect this place under the power of a Yggdrasil soul, they use the books here as part of the contract, ensuring their safety. Ein asks Akahahe if he can take Alice outside. She says it seems difficult as her daughter is like a closed-off seed, lacking physical strength. Ein says he really wants to meet them, but she seems scared. He knows the outside world is terrifying, but he's overcome it thanks to Yuri and her group. Ein promises to help Alice with all his strength and defeat all monsters, ensuring her safe return to Yuri and the others. He sincerely asks if she can trust and come with him. Akahahe laughs, looking at her daughter blushing profusely. Ein smiles, realizing maybe his request was too abrupt, and says he'll come back another time. He immediately shares this good news with Yuri upon returning. The next day, Ein continues to search for information in the library. Surprisingly, this time Alice wants to go outside with everyone. Akahahe gives Ein Alice's soul core because without it, she can't leave. As Akahahe can't use teleportation magic like Ursula, she will send a duplicate to accompany them. The three of them head to the outside world. Ein enters the hidden dungeon, which is quite different from the others. He knows there won't be any help from Ursula until he exits the dungeon. His left eye has also temporarily disconnected from Yuri and the others. While Ein is still thinking, Akahahe exclaims there's trouble. Ein asks if it's a monster, but he won't let his guard down. She simply points to her daughter and informs him that she's tired. Ein is puzzled since they've barely walked 5 minutes, finding it a hindrance. He apologizes for not noticing and suggests they rest for a while. Akahahe mysteriously smiles and says they are in a hurry and can't stop every 5 minutes. Akahahe asks Ein what he thinks about carrying Alice on his back, then whispers to Alice that this is her chance, there's nothing to worry about. As Ein carries Alice forward, Akahahe secretly approves of him. Suddenly, Ein uses spiral twist 50 times moving forward. Akahahe, astonished, asks why he used it so abruptly. Ein explains he just defeated a swarm of moths. Akahahe can't believe her eyes, as Ein defeats enemies without even seeing them. She knew he was strong, but this is beyond expectation. Another fast-moving monster appears, too quick to see. Alice asks if she should get down, but Ein, while simultaneously dealing with a grasshopper, declines. Akahahe asks what he did, as she only blinked and it was gone. Ein explains he used magic, and his special eye made from a soul stone allows him to catch such speed immediately. Ein suggests they've come far enough and should rest. Akahahe regrets not bringing food and assumes Ein doesn't have any, but she is again amazed when Ein prepares a full meal, resembling a tea party, using his magic seal with unlimited storage. Akahahe marvels at his abilities. While they are talking, an iron knight appears, intent on attacking. Akahahe is afraid of it because of its near-perfect accuracy and near-useless counterattacks. Before she can react, the monster is shattered into pieces. Akahahe, looking at Ain in disbelief, mutters that her daughter is in love with a monster. They soon reach the boss room. Akahahe notes the boss monster's energy, stating it's different from the others they've faced. Ain informs her that it's a monster created from the body of a person once known as the Holy Sword, and also the strongest knight of the kingdom. It can slash enemies from a distance with its sword swing skill and uses Ayanuki at high speed when the enemy is in range. Ain whispers that this one is quite troublesome. Alice steps forward, standing next to Ain, expressing her trust in him. Ain, wielding his sword, steps forward and says to leave it to him. The entire room is likely within the monster's range for sword swing and Ayanuki. Ain uses super appraisal on the monster and realizes his eye can stop an S-rank monster's movement, but not its sword attack. He switches to counter, which can double the strength of a counterattack and stop even faster attacks. However, Ain realizes he can't break the monster's body, admitting his sword skills are self-taught and amateurish. He compensates with the special ability of his Saint's Eye. Ain decides to use his eye to follow the monster's sword path. Knowing he can't compete in swordsmanship alone, Ain throws his sword away. Akahahe, in shock, asks what he's doing. Immediately after, the monster's sword also falls, and everything happens in a flash until the monster is defeated. Akahahe comments on how quickly it happened, not even realizing what just occurred. She asks if Ain caused the monster to lose grip on its sword. Ain explains he attached his sword to sticky thread before throwing it at the enemy's sword, and the elasticity of the thread pulled the monster's sword away. Akahahe is amazed at how quickly he formulated such a perfect plan. Alice runs to Ain and extends her hands towards him, causing Ain to look puzzled. Her mother explains that Alice is just worried and checking if Ain is hurt. Ain laughs, assuring he's fine and there's no need to worry. When Ain turns away, Akahahe tells her daughter she's being too imaginative. Ain approaches the trembling sword. Akahahe mentions a special type of sword known as a holy sword that can choose its own master, loyal to the swordsman for life. Ain regrets losing a good sword but is happy they are nearing the end of the dungeon. Alice looks unhappy, prompting Akahahe to laugh and say she's upset because Ain is no longer carrying her. Without much thought, Ain replies that he can carry her again once they are above ground. Yuri, seeing Alice, runs to hug her joyfully. Ain looks at their reunion and feels vicariously happy. Alice grabs Ain's hand, expressing her desire to stay with everyone. Ain thinks to himself that she finally got to reunite with her family. Pina, hearing this, runs to hug Alice, glad that they can now explore together. Akahahe sits in a corner, smiling secretly, thinking that perhaps her daughter's confession didn't reach Ain. Kuro comments that love is never a smooth journey. The next day, Ain is unsure what to do next to find the remaining 5 people. Maigen comes from behind, hugs him, and mentions he seems taller now. Jasper, following behind, says they have a new request from the guild, directly from the king. He asks Ain if he knows anything about demons. Ain replies that he once defeated one at the mansion, with a head like a bird. Jasper is surprised and asks again if a demon had come there. Ain, embarrassed, explains he created a shield around the mansion, not wanting anyone to be in danger. He had thought not to tell anyone to avoid worry. Jasper acknowledges Ain's reluctance to bother others, but says it's both his strength and weakness. He encourages Ain to ask for help when needed. Jasper explains that demons are beings banished from the human world centuries ago. A hero created a spatial barrier to hide them from public view. The truth is, demons haven't been completely defeated, they still appear and attack humans. Only a few are aware of this. Maigen points to the Razak territory on the map, where demons frequently appear. The current task is to eliminate these demons, but unfortunately, ordinary adventurers can't defeat them. And due to recent peace, the number of adventurers is decreasing. Ain immediately volunteers to help in that territory. Ursula disagrees, questioning why they should help when they have other purposes. Ain responds that when they first met without any connection, everyone still helped him. He understands the fear and despair of facing an unbeatable enemy, and he owes his survival to being rescued. Therefore, Ein wants to help others the way Yuri and Ursula helped him before. Moreover, Ein believes they will uncover the reason why that demon wants to attack him. Yuri is the first to laugh, saying she also thinks the same. She urges the others to quickly go and rescue the victims. Pina, somewhat lazily, replies that it's fine, agreeing with the plan. Yuri runs over and hugs Ursula, laughing and saying if that's what Ein wants to do, then there's nothing to refuse. The domain of Raisk, a place swarming with demons. A place where people can't survive without sacrifice. Today, little Mia is to become the village's sacrificial offering. Mia, led by her father's hand, tells him she's hungry. With a heavy heart, he looks at his daughter and reassures her that it will be okay, they're going to a place with lots of delicious food. The naive girl continues to ask if that place is like heaven, where her mother is. The father, with a pained expression, promises that soon she will meet her mother. A villager loudly announces for everyone to pay attention as Hydra-sama is about to arrive and they should kneel. The disgusting demon appears, demanding from the villagers where his food is. The innocent Mia asks her father what Hydra-sama is. He explains that it's a serpent god who will protect their village. He strokes his daughter's head, telling her to go as the god will take her to meet Wowie. He says he can't go with her, but he will surely be behind her. Mia looks at her father, agreeing, wanting to bring back delicious food for him. She recalls her father being very tearful when her mother went to heaven, but it won't be the same for her. Mia adds that it's because she won't be there to cry for him anymore. The father, panic-stricken, grabs her hand, asking if she already knows. Mia runs to the side of the monster, pleading with Hydra-sama to take her to heaven. Mia's father runs to embrace her, saying he can't do it. The villagers scold him, saying Mia is naturally weak and won't live long. It's for both Mia and the village, they had already discussed and agreed. The father prostrates on the ground, begging the monster to eat him instead of his daughter. Ein arrives just in time, using a shield to protect Mia from the monster's grotesque mouth. He asks if she's okay, it's very dangerous so she should hide behind him. With his clairvoyant eye, he saw the attack on the people and used his fastest strength to get there. Ursula informs him that this monster is an ancient SS-class dragon. It has the ability to create both medicine and poison. Its outer skin is always covered in a deadly toxin. Ein asks Yuri for help, then looks at the villagers who were poisoned. To their surprise, the poison disappears and their wounds heal rapidly. The dragon is baffled by the absurdity. How can someone neutralize poison just with a glance? Ein thinks to himself about the growing power of his holy eye. Yuri's healing powers have naturally strengthened as well, and the sensation is incredible. Ein tells Mia's father to take her away, as he will fight this monster. The villagers start to gossip, viewing Ein as some sort of adventurer, but they believe no one can defeat him. While everyone debates whether to flee, Ein manages to take down the dragon. The villagers are so astonished that they could almost drop their eyes out. Ursula, for once, compliments Ein for doing a great job. The villagers line up to thank Ein. He bids them farewell as they have more important things to do, like finding the lord of this region. Nigan brings out sweets and tea to entertain Ein, commenting that it seems he had a long and tiring journey to get here. Akahahe is angry that while people in the village are nearly starving, this guy has so much food that he can afford desserts. Ein speaks up, wanting to start by knowing about the demons in the village. He asks for general information like where they usually appear and who the victims are. Nigan asks if he means demons. They were defeated by a hero long ago. She asserts that she has never seen such things in Rasik village. There are many monsters in the mysterious deep forest, and maybe the story comes from rumors around there. Ein is surprised and asks her again if there really are no demons. Yuri suggests that maybe she is trying to deceive him. Ein asks again, then what about the report that there are demons here? Regardless of whether there are demons or not, he has seen the villagers living in extreme hardship. Ein tells Nigan if there is truly something he can do, please let him know. Because he is here now, has defeated Hydra, and he has received food. Nigan suddenly stands up, loudly asking if he really defeated Hydra, which is impossible. She seems to go mad, exclaiming that now the village will be threatened by mystical beasts. Nigan swears loudly, saying that the village is the closest to the deep forest, because it lies within Hydra's territory. Other monsters dared not approach because it was a white zone.